Hi, I'm talking today to Psychosexual and Relationship Therapist, Shanta Gyanchand. Hi, Shanta, how are you?
I'm very well, Joanne, and you?
I'm great, thank you. Shanta, you're based both in the UK and in India. Thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed for Askimo's International Library of Interviews with Experts.
Thank you.
Shanta, the first thing we're going to discuss today is relationship therapy and problems in relationships. So, when should a couple start seeking help from a relationship therapist?
Well, there's no real right time to go to a relationship therapist. People usually come to relationship therapy when things are going wrong in a relationship, and they realize that the communication has broken down so much that they're finding it hard to move forward or get anything done, or make the changes they want to make. People often wait to go to relationship therapy until the point they really think the relationship is going to fall apart. And a lot of people have heard that you go to relationship therapy too late. I wouldn't say that's particularly true, but it is helpful to go when you first realize there's a problem rather than wait until it's all become too difficult.
What happens if one spouse wants to go and the other doesn't? Are you still able to then work with the partner that does want the help?
Yes, I think it often happens that one partner doesn't want to come to therapy, and that isn't always because they don't want to make the relationship work. It may be because they have issues about therapy itself, or they don't want to talk in front of somebody else. So it can be that there's two partners who really want the relationship to work, but one doesn't see why they should have to come to therapy to make that happen. I do work with individuals who are having difficulties during relationships, and if you come to a relationship therapy, so you come to me and you're having a relationship difficulty, your partner doesn't want to come in, you can still learn how to improve your communication style, how to communicate better with them, and how to reduce arguments and really get to the core of what's going on in the relationship and in yourself. We always have to challenge ourselves in a relationship in order to make a difference.
Shanta, who does the relationship change when a baby's born?
That's a very interesting question. Who does it change? Well, it definitely changes the mother. It also changes the father. And it also changes the baby because they've just been born and come into a family and a world they know nothing about. So it changes the entire systemic from this. When we think about any relationship or any family, we can think of it almost like a clock that's working with all the cogs whirring into place. And you just have these two cogs for so long, and suddenly you've got a third cog, and where it fits in and how everyone fits in, and the focus of the entire mechanics of the relationships change. So there's an enormous change, yes. Also, when a baby is born, women... Oh, sorry. You were going to say something. I was going to say that the mother tends to be changed for a long time because of the hormonal changes that have gone in her. So when a woman gives birth, during pregnancy she's gone through this roller coaster of emotions, and that can change the relationship a lot. And then certainly in the first year after the baby is born, she's still got a lot of hormones running through her, some of which will lower her libido. So that will also change the relationship. Often husbands or the partner who isn't giving birth they're ready for all the emotions of the pregnancy, and they kind of think that after that everything will go back to normal. So for the mother, there sometimes needs more support as she deals with these hormones and the emotional changes that go with them, and as she gets her body back and claims it back as her own after having a baby.
What advice can you share for married couples on communication with emotional integrity?
Well, there are a few I can actually think of. I think one which you may have heard of, or people hear most, is use I statements when feeling emotional. That is, take responsibility for your emotion. Another person doesn't really make us feel a certain way. They act in a way and then we feel a certain way. So it can be very useful to do that. rather than to say, you make me feel a certain way when you do that, you can say, I feel this when you say that. And that allows the other partner not to feel attacked when they're doing something which is usually in their behavior. And you're also responding in a way which is usually in your emotional cycle. And it allows you both to look at the emotions together as a team rather than as enemies who are trying to win in some way. I'd also say, always speak about your emotions. Don't bottle it up. We tend to bottle up emotions because we don't want to make a problem. And then when we do get upset, the other person isn't ready for the huge amount of emotion that's built up and the resentment that's built up over the years, or the weeks, or the months. And when we build up resentment, that can also cause sexual issues to start occurring within ourselves and in the relationship.
They say that the top 3 threats to marriages are in-laws, money, and sex. What are your thoughts in this regard?
That certainly seems to be the case. I would probably add work to that as well. Maybe work and money can go together, but work stress makes a big difference. My thoughts in that regard is we can offset a lot of those problems by being partners in a relationship. Certainly the idea that in-laws are a problem, that only becomes a problem if there is an issue with in-laws or your family or their family, if you don't act as a unit, as a partnership who are working together with whatever the outside world throws at them. If you split yourselves and you argue about your extended families, then of course that's going to affect the relationship. But extended families should learn to respect you as a partnership as well. In terms of money and sex, the same is true. If whatever problem comes up, whether it's sex, an extramarital affair, money worries, job stresses, if the two of you think of yourselves as a partnership who are working together to solve all the problems that come your way, and who celebrate your achievements when they happen, then that ride, which is bumpy for everyone, is going to go a little more smoothly.
What do you think parents can do to create a better work-life balance so that they don't feel too tired to find the time to be intimate?
That's a very common situation. Well, I'd say first of all, be realistic. Be realistic about what you can do and what you can change to make more time for yourself. A lot of people expect to be superwomen and supermen who can be amazing lovers, partners, parents, work colleagues, daughters, sons, all at the same time. So be realistic about what you're capable of. Create time by being realistic. Ask for help. We tend to live in these nuclear units now, and it's quite an unnatural way for human beings to live. It's not the way we used to live in the times of old. We used to have large extended families to take some of the pressure off when we needed it. So ask for help. Ask for help from family and friends to take our children sometimes so that we can actually have time together. Be strict in creating space for you as a couple. Remember, it's incredibly good for a child to see parents who make time for each other and for the relationship. And for parents who tend to feel guilty if they do that, when you do that, when you create time which is very clear to the child, mummy and daddy time, the child grows up remembering and thinking of relationships as a positive thing, and they are more likely to have positive relationships in their life.
Shanta, one last question. As a relationship therapist, what would you say are the secrets to maintaining healthy and happy relationships?
Well, if I could give some tips, I would say check in regularly with your partner and always be prepared to challenge yourself, to change, to stand up for yourself, to do the difficult emotional thing in a relationship. Sometimes we have to be firm where we don't want to, or we have to stand down and not have to win when our pride is hurt. So be prepared to challenge yourself, definitely, and always check in, see how your partner's doing, find out what's going on for them.
Thank you. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Joanne.